All right, let's get to the fun stuff. Retro reverse jerseys. As you can see, I'm wearing mine from 1.0, but everybody has a list, and whether it's Hockey Guy or Dangle or whoever, they all have their lists, as do we. So let's dive in. On the whole, let me just ask you this before I give you your ASMR. Here we go. There it is. On the whole, better or worse than 1.0?
Worse, 100%.
Really?
Yep.
Ooh, all right, let's get into it. Let's start with Anaheim. We're going to do this shit alphabetically. So you remember last time round, they had that beautiful Wild Wing coming up out of the water. Everybody loved this. This was like in most people's top 3. It was certainly in mine. Loved it. And this go around, they went slightly different. Like they threw it back to the original logo, but with current colors. I'm not a fan of the current colors. But for me, the way that I'm judging this, since we're doing this kind of compare thing, is this a step forward or a step back? For me, this is a step back from the last one. What about you? And I should say, I got to give it some context. The 1993 signature asymmetrical body stripe, chevron sleeve stripes, and 3 color player numbers is an ode to the Ducks' inaugural season uniform, remixed with the team's modern-day color scheme. Winner or loser?
I actually neither. I actually think it's a lateral move. I think both are good jerseys. Both
you can only buy one. Which one are you doing?
I mean, neither. Like
you have to buy one. Which one are you buying?
Well, I mean, I would probably buy this one only because I think I like the Mighty Ducks logo better than the Wild, whatever it's called, the Wild Wing one. But just in terms of they're both nice jerseys. They both follow the criteria, that we talked about, like how sort of mixing in different styles, the current colors, the old style, old colors, current style, doing sort of that Frankenstein action. I think
this ain't doing much for you.
No, I think it's a lateral move, but that's not a bad thing.
Okay. Oh, boy, be a triple.
What if it was purple?
What if it was purple? Here we go. The Coyotes are the first team to ever wear a jersey featuring an earth tone color, sienna. Inspired by the Coyotes' 98-03 third uniform, this jersey depicts a desert and incorporates the Coyotes' crescent moon logo as part of the landscape. So to me, this is just very much kind of like, what if it was sienna? Is this kind of lateral to me, but I prefer the purple.
See, again, and there's going to be, I feel as we compare all these, I feel I'm going to have a lot of qualifiers here. I think it's a step back, but it's still one of my favorite jerseys from this batch.
Okay. The other thing,
just because we've talked about it so much, purple needs to be more mainstream in the NHL.
Hell yeah. The other thing that kind of stands out for me for whatever reason more, and it might just be the photos of the model or whatever, but that the portion of the jersey that has the skyline, kind of the mountains and cactus or whatever, just that little line, it kind of looks like an added apron.
Sure.
Whereas like the Ducks reverse retro 1.0 was sublimated throughout, so you didn't have that. I like the sublimated version better, but anyway.
Fair.
So for you, you're also saying lateral.
No, I say step back.
Oh, step back. Okay.
But a very small step back.
Gotcha. All right. Boston. You remember 1.0. Yep. Nice gold one. I didn't have a problem with this. Like it certainly wasn't at the top of my list, but I didn't think of it as a loser. I just kind of went, yeah, that seemed like the obvious way to go. This time around, Boston brings back Pooh Bear.
Huge.
Inspired by the Bruins' 95 third jersey that was originally gold, this bright white jersey's main character is the Bruin itself. Legend has it that the image of the Bruin was taken from a painting of a bear hanging on a team executive's wall, and why it resembles a painted image rather than a digital one. I got to tell you, on gold, the original one, not a fan. On white with the trim and everything, dude, love it.
Yeah, and again, with these reverse retro jerseys, both 1.0 and 2.0, I sort of grade it on two metrics. Number one, do I like the design? Number two, do I like the inspiration? Right?
Mm-hmm.
I sort of grade it on two metrics, and we'll, especially when we get to the Sharks one, you're going to see that in play quite a bit. This one, so for the Bruins 1.0, the execution, I'm not a fan of yellow, but the inspiration, I support it. I respect the inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
This one 2.0, better design, love the inspiration from it. For me, Boston, it's a step forward, and I didn't really think all too hard about that. I came to that conclusion pretty quickly.
Yeah, I like that. Like, again, I judge this on if I can only buy one, which one am I getting?
Sure.
Or I shouldn't say buy. I'm not spending money on any of this stuff. But it's like if I have to pick, and it's like, no, I would totally go Pooh Bear over the yellow one.
See, and in this situation, I do agree with you. I do think that's a very easy choice. But like with the Ducks one especially, I like both about the same. So, my metric for choosing would honestly be flipping a coin,
Gotcha. All right. Buffalo. This, boy, I got to tell you, I think this is a step back for me. But either way, we remember 1.0 from them with the what was originally a black and red jersey.
It was primarily black and red.
Yeah, and then they upgraded it to the current royal blue and gold. So this go around, they keep that blue and gold, but go with the goat's head. Buffalo, the Sabres uniform blends the style of the 96 logo with the colors of today. The body stripes and horn-shaped outline on the upper arm complement the center crest, the bison buffalo. I got to tell you, I think I would have liked this more had the jersey been blue. Like if you invert the blue and the white on this, I think I would have really liked it a lot more.
So again, going back to my metric of do I like the design and do I like the inspiration, Buffalo's 1.0 was a home run for me. This one, it's a grand salami for me. Like,
oh really?
And we talked about this so much when 1.0 came out. I love the Frankensteining, different era, one era color with another era design, and you sort of mash them together. Yeah, like LA did with 1.0, and you kind of just see what happens, And so you couple that with the fact that the goat head logo is a vastly superior logo to the dueling Sabres logo. To me, like 1.0 was a home run. 2.0 is a grand slam.
What you're saying is Buffalo understood the assignment.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that because it popped in my head and I forgot to mention it. Buffalo followed the rules. Because there's and don't get me wrong, we'll get to it. There's a lot of teams, they have a really awesome jersey, but it's more retro than reverse, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And for the people watching, give us your takes in the chat. Like, let us know which one's popping for you. Let's move on to Calgary here. So 1.0, I guess, was such a hit that's now their third jersey.
Yep, accurate.
Yeah, I think a few teams need to consider that.
Arizona.
Yeah, oh, dude, in a big way. So this go around, Calgary went with the pedestal design. The Flames crest is placed on a thick diagonal striped pedestal in this jersey, an ode to the 95 uniform. The number and name are italicized to match the forward movement of the Flames C crest. I got to tell you, as much as you were kind of flip a coin on Anaheim, I'm kind of the same with both of Calgary's designs. I don't know. There's something about this design for Calgary that I don't like, and I think again I go back to look at the apron underneath the C, with that. Had they sublimated it, I think I would have been like, love it, dig it. But it looks like someone took two different jerseys and stitched them together.
That's okay. I didn't think about that, but that's a good point.
Yeah,
here's
me off. Like if the body of this had been all black, I would have been all, oh, love it. Absolutely.
So here's my take on the matter. Excuse me. So,
or take away the pedestal.
Here's the thing. Looking at the collective, again, just very wide, broad, sort of, 50,000 foot view. I think it's a lateral move. but I'll break it down for you. Their 2.0 design is worse than their 1.0 design, but their inspiration and their execution significantly better in 2.0, because 2.0 they took the second at the time away. They took their second away jersey that they ever wore, flipped some colors around, and that's in the spirit of the reverse retro kind of mindset. You're sort of tweaking it, flipping things around, and seeing what happens. But the design is very ugly. Now you go back to 1.0, all they did was change one color on one stripe color. But the design the logo is badass. So on 1.0, good design, bad inspiration. On 2.0, bad design, good inspiration. And that's why I say it's lateral, but for different reasons, if that makes sense.
All right. Christine saying the stripe thing is weird. It looks like a woman's bathing suit. Yeah, it's something. Again, I think if you take away the pedestal portion and you just keep, and again, get rid of the apron part thing, but you just have the horizontal stripes, I think it's a winner.
Sure.
It's the pedestal and that apron that throws me off. Carolina. Let's see here. So you remember Carolina going back to the whale last time around. Huge for a lot of people. A lot of people had this in their top 5. This time around, did it I mean, isn't this like one of their fucking current jerseys? But I digress. The team's current away jersey gets redesigned in a bold red for the first time in franchise history. There are 2 sets of hurricane warning flags on the shoulders, and the Canes stair-step center crest to underscore the flag details. I feel like I've seen this before. This doesn't feel retro, reverse anything. It just feels like, it's a Canes jersey.
Well, it's definitely reverse. I'll give them that one.
Well, was it in white before?
Yeah, it's currently in white. It's their current away jersey.
Oh, okay. Why are we even talking about this?
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's definitely it's definitely reverse. I give them props for that. But to your point, not retro at all.
Yeah, dude. Everybody wanted a red Whalers.
That would have been dope,
dude.
And I wonder, or even Whalers like hurricane warning style, I think would have been a lot better as well. But this to me feels, and by the way, I think, again, what they're trying to do, I support it, but I'm not a fan of the design itself. And to me, this feels like cutting a corner. So the Hurricanes for this season, they flipped their jerseys. They made the home jersey the alternate jersey the home jersey. This feels to me like, you know what? We're kind of sick of our red jersey anyway. Let's introduce a red reverse retro based on our current away jersey, and then in a year or two, we'll just make that the new home jersey or alternate jersey. It feels like a sort of a backdoor redesign as opposed to actually in the true spirit of reverse retro. So I think it's a step back.
Yeah, I would come to say that I don't think you could name another team that did so well the first time and so badly the second time, but the Canes have my vote for number 1 in that category. Chicago. Last time around, I mean, and we're talking, Chicago kind of has a lot of history to tap into. Last time around, wasn't one of my favorites, but I didn't think it was absolutely horrible. This time around, kind of almost in the same boat. And remember, I'm not a fan of wordmark jerseys, but Descripto says the 83 Chicago uniform takes on a literal interpretation of reverse retro. The black and red colors are inverted with the Chicago wordmark inspired by the 2019 Winter Classic crest laying across the chest. Again, and the other thing too is, do the teams talk to each other? Because when I first saw this, I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that the Detroit jersey too?
So here's the thing for me. We've talked about with the Sharks, they've been really awful and then they become awful, and that's progress. Or they were bad and then now they're really bad. And, so with this one, their 1.0 jersey was one of the worst. And somehow they found a way to outdo themselves.
I completely agree.
Now, again...
Now, if I had to pick between the two,
Sure.
I would be like you and like, okay, when you say pick between the two, you mean which one I throw in the fireplace first?
Yeah, I think I would abstain from that choice. But here's the thing. Again, and this is sort of my two-pronged approach to it. Do I like the design? Do I like the inspiration? I actually don't hate the inspiration. The design sucks, though.
Yeah.
And it's shocking to me because I didn't think it could get any worse than their 1.0.
Dude. And Christine coming in hot yet again. This looks like a shirt designed for the kids department at Kohl's. She's not wrong.
I kind of think, honestly, if you took the logo, the numbers, and the shoulder patches off this thing, I think when I was a kid, I had a T-shirt that looked like that.
Yeah. I might have had the same one. But, yeah, I'm just... Nich.
Also, I just think, like, the now, I'm not a fan of, like, the word, the word or the letters as a logo, right? Just because it's like, we know where you're from. We know you play in Chicago.
We're aware.
That's the same thing, with the Vancouver Canucks when they changed their jersey. Oh, finally, we're not reminded that they play in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at this and I'm like, I understand with Chicago, it's really hard because their logo historically and even now is extremely problematic. So I understand why they have sort of a small sort of room to operate in. I get it, but I don't know. I feel like there's so much more that could have been done. Like they could have, and maybe we're getting too far into the weeds, but the really cool shoulder patch they have, sort of that tomahawk kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
When's that becoming a crest?
Hey now.
Or even I'm sure you've seen it floated out on the internet, but the Black Hawk. It's actually a Black Hawk.
Oh, yep.
Why not something like that?
Yeah. Again, just not a big fan of word marks. It's kind of like the Rangers for me own the patent on that one.
Well, and if you can you zoom out to the full one a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, you put some number. This reminds me of like the Dallas Stars,
the penal colony one.
Yeah, the home and away jerseys from like the early 2010s, where it's like, why are you wearing your penitentiary uniform to a hockey game? Like.
All right. Let's move on to Colorado, who, I mean, for all intents and purposes, dude, like blew everybody out of the water with the design first go around.
So, yeah, and that's the thing with similar to Buffalo when we're talking about 1.0, they understood the assignment.
Oh, did they? I don't know that they understood the assignment the second time around. But dude, for most people this was tops from from the first go around. Mm-hmm. And now this one, no. And again, we're going to get into it, but as much as Detroit and Chicago must have had some sort of firewall between them, I would say the same for Colorado and New Jersey, and you'll see why in a little bit. But for this one, Colorado Avalanche, the Stanley Cup champions, honor their inaugural and first Stanley Cup championship season, I guess. I don't know. Honor their inaugural season by paying homage to their state. I don't know what the hell that has to do with their state, but the center C crest derived from the state flag, and the angled stripes mimic the Rocky Mountains. Dude, I'm so tired of this C logo, and it probably has to do with the fact that they replaced like my favorite Colorado, the Yeti foot, with that damn C.
Well, so let me hopefully break it down for you a little bit. I actually don't agree with you on saying that they didn't understand the assignment this time around. I actually think they understood it again. And again, is that my favorite design? No, but it's nice. It's a nice design.
Maybe if they invert the blue with the white, maybe I like it a little bit more.
But there's a couple things at play here. Number one, as you read from the graphic, the logo on front, that is from the state flag. I agree with you. It's an ugly logo, but it's sort of paying homage to Colorado, and I support it. And the design, the sort of the striping on the arms and the shoulders and the waist, that's pulled pretty much directly from their first set of jerseys, that pattern, So I respect that. They're kind of paying homage to the first sort of set of jerseys that they wore, but also the color scheme. It pulls from the color scheme of the Colorado Rockies professional hockey team, which was not in the NHL for very long. But again, you're paying homage to the history of professional hockey in the state of Colorado, which again, I support it. So I actually quite like this. The inspiration for this design, like if I'm grading it, A+.
Okay.
The design itself, I'll give you a B-, but
Dude, I just look at that state logo and all I can see is Pac-Man choking on a jawbreaker. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, let's move on.
I support your right to feel that way.
Columbus, I felt like they understood the assignment the first go around in a big way.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, totally love the fact that they used the old CB logo with the stick down the middle. This go around, no. This is a step back for me. The black body accented with navy stripes along the sleeves honors the Blue Jackets' original third jersey while tying it in light blue from the team's current third jersey. The original third jersey was the first display of the current Blue Jackets logo inspired by the Ohio State flag. I got to be honest, dude, to me, for any of you that are old enough or can remember when Starter did a run of like every team in black and called it a fashion series and whatnot, that's exactly what this looks like.
So,
step back for me.
Yeah, I think it is a step back as well, but it's not a very large step back. I mean, I think, again, their inspiration, I think, is bang on. It's a nice sort of play on what they've done historically, but the design, it kind of looks like, and maybe it's because, the blue that's featured here is not the blue that was featured back in 2003, but it just it looks to me like not like a DH Gate jersey that the color is ever so slightly off on. Like,
good point.
I'd be curious to, because and the graphic said, it features the blue from the current alternate jersey, which is more of that lighter blue sort of style. I wonder what this jersey would look like with the true navy blue from that 2003 jersey.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what, Christine should just be running the chat right now. She makes a note that says the jersey, it makes her body look distorted. Can we find a model that isn't a waif? Like this particular girl that's modeling this, and watch, in every one of these, she's wearing a jersey that's clearly like 2 sizes too big for her. So it's definitely not flattering. That's something that I wanted to cover towards the end. But yeah, since Christine pointed it out, the jerseys are ridiculously, like, we couldn't have found models that were, I don't know, a bit more sturdy. That'd be, dear Lord.
I don't know. I don't think that's a considering. I don't think that should be a considering factor. I think the whole thing
looks silly. Is at least get them the right size one.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but the whole thing, the whole idea with jerseys is that it's like it's supposed to be big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but maybe this Columbus one isn't great, but we'll go into some other ones. Holy crap, do they look silly? And of course, it's the tried and true thing of let's give everybody a hoodie to wear under it because that's how everybody wears their hockey jersey. Whatever. Dallas. Oh boy, I feel like this could be something to get into. I really liked Dallas's 1.0 go around. I love it. I love had they made the arms and the bottom part, black to really make the star stand out more, to me, that would have been the better play. But when you look at it, top to bottom, where they're wearing white breezers and white, like everything's white, like I was like, kind of a crisp look. I get it. This go around could be a little controversial, but the Stars modernized the team's inaugural season uniform with its current color palette. The Stars' word and logo blend into one as the shoulder patches include images of the state of Texas with the D marking the location of Dallas. I do think that is a great secondary logo on those shoulder patches. I love this logo. I always have. I always thought it worked really well. I just go back to the whole thing of you had that Star jersey. That was one of the coolest that they used it for the All-Star game, right? Back in the 90s?
Correct.
Dude, just such a great, I don't understand how you don't go back to that, but how about you? Because to me, I think this is lateral. I don't love it more than the other one, but I don't hate it more than the other one.
I actually think this is a step up because on the 1.0 jerseys, again, you're going to hear me talk about this a lot. The execution, the inspiration, I thought was 100%. They hit it, right? You take that 1999 home jersey and you put the current shade of green on there and you sort of do the different look. I respect the inspiration, but I didn't like the design itself. I actually thought it was quite ugly. So then you go to 2.0, and they once again have hit well with the the inspiration element of it. They take their away jersey from 1993, and they sort of bring in the modern green, and they sort of flip around a couple of the colors. So they hit on the inspiration again. They're probably one of the few teams that have got 100% on the inspiration both times. But the design itself, this is a much better design than 1.0. I think it's a step forward.
Okay. The other thing that I'm kind of seeing, or I guess noticing more here, again, oversized jersey, could have been a size smaller, but the NHL logo, I get what they were trying to do. The orange, give it more of a retro feel, but the chrome one from the first round it kind of blended with everybody, where the orange one, sometimes it works and sometimes it really clashes, and it makes me wonder, should the teams have been allowed to use their color? I think that would look kind of sharp if instead of orange, it was the same green that they're using.
It's an interesting thought, and I actually do support that. I think that would look really cool, but I also like, fully steering into the retro style and having, the pre-2005 NHL logo there. I think that's a nice touch, even if it maybe doesn't fit perfectly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Detroit has no idea just stop already. Just maybe stop making jerseys.
Yeah, they missed the mark both times.
Holy crap. 1.0, it was like, okay, let's just take our white one and let's throw some duct tape on it. Sure. Second go around, oh boy, not much better. The new to the Red Wings uniform, a black trim accent runs along the jersey, pants, and socks and gloves and helmet for a seamless look. The jersey honors Detroit's 1991 NHL 75th anniversary jersey with a Detroit ward mark inspired by the 1920 Detroit Cougars jersey. I will say, have you seen this on social media where they show it top to bottom, where it's like, no, it's very much like the Sharks, where it's red pants, red socks, red lid, wow, red gloves, everything's red. And in that regard, it actually kind of pops. But on its own, and this is, last time I looked, when you go, Jerk, to go buy a jersey, you're not also looking to buy the pants and the lid and the gloves and the everything. You just want the jersey. Mm-hmm. So on its own, I kind of go, ooh. But fully done, it actually kind of looks not too shabby.
Yeah, I give them props for trying to be more creative than 1.0. I think that's very obvious that they at least tried to be more creative, but I don't know. I respect the inspiration, but this is I don't know. I just don't like this execution whatsoever. I mean, first of all, it looks exactly like the Chicago jersey.
Right. Dude, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just make it look a little different.
Well, and you know what? The Detroit Red Wings jersey, there's a reason why it's their current home jersey. There's a reason why it's been unchanged since 1937, and that's because it's iconic. It's a beautiful jersey. And so I understand, based on that fact, the bar is kind of high for anything new you produce. And we've talked about this I don't know how many times, but I look at their 2016 Stadium Series jersey. I look at their 2017 Centennial Classic jersey. Those were both awesome jerseys that found a way to live in the same atmosphere as their current home jersey that's been around for 80 years. Why not bring one of those back and do a little tweaking with there? Or, why not really steer into the mental insanity and let's do like a black Red Wings jersey?
Oh, yeah. I'm down for it. Edmonton. This is always interesting.
Their 1.0 was not my favorite, but it wasn't bad.
I was like, well, again, you know what? To me, I looked at this and I'm like, this isn't already their jersey?
Right.
It looked so not off the beaten path. How did this not exist already? So for the first go around, I thought Edmonton did a fine job. Like they didn't piss me off, but they didn't hit it out of the park. I was just kind of like, yeah, looks good looking jersey.
Yeah.
Second go around, a lot of people were very happy. The Oilers' first third jersey assumes a modern orange and navy twist. Front and center is the oil drop, or what other people refer to as something different, surrounded by a dynamic gear with each bolt hub representing one of the team's 5 Stanley Cup championships. I believe this is McFarlane designed this logo.
Yeah, and they didn't wear this jersey for very long either. It was only from 01 to 07. The jersey that this one is inspired from, I should say.
All right, and I got to tell you, this kind of I don't want to say prove, but accents my point about when the shield matches a color on the jersey, that shield kind of pops more.
Sure.
So
that's fair.
That's the one thing I dig about this. But on this one, I got to tell you, I liked the original one better. I like the one without the orange.
I agree. I like the original one better, but I love, again, doing something different because, like you said, like the Oilers, in the last 15 years, they've had, if you count home, away, and third jersey, they've had about
18 different ones in the last couple of years.
They've had about 7 or 8 jerseys that are largely based on the same sort of style.
Mm-hmm.
And so to bring this one back, even though I think the original, the inspiration is better than the Reverse Retro 2.0, but I dig them sort of digging deep into the closet for something that they have only worn for a small portion of their history. And I really dig just the sort of attempt to finally do something different.
And the other thing I want to give taps to Edmonton for is that it seemed like they were one of the few teams that listened after 1.0 to what their fans wanted.
Yep.
Because I felt like a lot of fans were screaming for this. So credit to them for that. Let's move on to, oh, baby.
This one is the number one contender for me.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely my number one. But the thing is, you talk about what we said earlier, like with Buffalo, Florida understood the assignment.
Yep.
And you remember when 1.0 first came around, I think Florida was in our top 5 for the first go around.
Yep.
And what's funny is at first it was a little bit of a slow burn for me, but the more I looked at it, I went, God damn, they did that really well. The second go around for 2.0, oh baby, a triple. Once on the shoulder of the 98 jersey, the iconic sun, palm tree, and stick logo was moved to center stage of the Panthers 2022 jersey. The light blue color was derived from the team's 09 third jersey and is paired with the current primary colors of navy, yellow, and red. If the Panthers are smart, this becomes their permanent alternate jersey. And they wear it about 20 times a year.
So remember how for Chicago, I had said that they did a really bad job the first time around and then somehow found a way to do it even worse?
Florida did the exact opposite?
Florida's 1.0 jersey was at the very top of my list. And then they basically said, oh, you like that? Well, watch this. And they brought out, for 2.0, another jersey that's at the top of my list just because, like, using that shade of red and blue, that's and the, I guess maybe you could call it like a burnt orange, maybe, or a yellowish, yellowish
it's the
orange.
sun. Yeah, gotta be yellow.
Yeah, San Jose streetlight color. That kind of calls back to the Florida Panthers of the 1990s, which I think is some of their best work in terms of jerseys. And then, you splash in sort of the baby blue. You get the palm tree hockey stick logo there on front. I think this is probably as close to a perfect jersey that you can get. And one of the things that I've talked about specifically with third jerseys is you see a lot of teams whose third jersey is the same color or the same basic design as their primary jersey.
Yeah.
This is not that. So you saying this needs to be the full-time third jersey, the Florida Panthers have not had a third jersey since 2012. I support it 100%.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. And the thing is, who was it that the Florida Panthers had? Was it Ekblad? They had like professional photos of him rocking one of these like on a boat.
Yeah, they had a couple of guys. I know Radko Gudas was there. I know Sasha Barkov was there, and hell of a photo shoot, by the way.
Oh, dude. But
You know,
here's the thing that kind of pisses me off is that you look at all the photos that came out from Adidas that we're going through. Every team that I saw that posted their own photos all used made in Canada versions.
mm-hmm.
That's not cool to me. Like, why are you posting something that isn't available to buy? F you. Let's move on. LA. Another team that I think I would put up there with Florida and Buffalo, as in they understood the assignment.
Yep, I agree.
1.0. Again, purple needs to be in the NHL a scotch more. They killed it last time with what Jerk liked to call the Frankensteining.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect. Loved this jersey, and they said, like you mentioned earlier, oh, you like that one? Try this on for size. Dude, the King's honor. The 82 uniform celebrating one of the greatest NHL comebacks ever, the Miracle on Manchester. This white jersey features purple and gold trim, royal crown crest sewn with raised gems, and a satin stitch embroidery. I mean, oh, baby.
Yeah, and you know what? So this time around, they didn't really get into the Frankensteining all that much. Obviously with 1.0, they took their they took their 60s, 70s, and 80s color scheme and they threw it onto their 90s jerseys, which I support 100%. This one, they didn't really get into the Frankensteining all that much. It's more so just their jersey from the 80s in white.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it's a solid
Should have been purple.
It's still a solid take. Like I really enjoy. It's not a full Frankenstein, but it's something new that we've not seen before. And as you talked about, the NHL needs more purple.
Sure.
And so I think, again, you're sensing a theme here. Buffalo, you mentioned it. Florida, you mentioned it. Colorado, you mentioned it. Hit it out of the park on 1.0, and then when it came to 2.0, they did not shrink at doing it again.
Oh, dude, it was
hit it out of the park again.
The first go around, they hit the bullseye, and with the second go around, the dart hit the same dart.
Yep.
But I do have a couple things to say, just to go back to Florida for a second. Christmas is coming up. I have one word for you when I look at this: Balsers. Oh, baby. All right, let's move on to Minnesota, who did not understand the assignment whatsoever.
I don't know.
All right, hold on. Here's the first one. Let's, all I can think of is, $5 foot long. Now Minnesota said, "Yeah, okay, you like that so much. What if we reverse our reverse?"
Hey, some may say that that's a 4-dimensional chess play.
All right. And you know what? Maybe there were a lot of fans that on the first go-around said, oh, I'd love it more if it was green. I guess. I don't know.
What if it was green?
Yeah. 78 North Stars jersey colors meet the modern wild crest in Minnesota's New Jersey, and with the star and trees of the crest featuring raised dimensional treatments. That's the big thing when they switched over to the prime green stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I want to order a submarine sandwich when I look at this.
So with this,
and the shield really stands out like a sore thumb.
Sure. Now I like paying homage to, again, similar to Colorado did, paying homage to the history of professional hockey in their home market. I support it. Obviously, 1.0 was North Stars inspired. 2.0 is North Stars inspired. I support it, but there's sort of a debate in sports, and obviously you'll know where I'm going with this, but it's the idea that if a team relocates, does the franchise history, does it travel with the franchise, or does it belong to the city? And we've seen kind of both sides of the coin, right? Where I believe it was the Cleveland Browns became the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. And all of the Cleveland Browns historical records stayed behind in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Whereas you've seen, Winnipeg Jets 1.0 records are in Arizona, and Atlanta Thrashers records are in Winnipeg, and Winnipeg 2.0 is somewhere out there as well. So you've kind of seen both sides of the coins. And with this, because the NHL does not believe that the history belongs to the city, I think it's a bit troubling that Minnesota is using a color scheme that belonged to a different franchise that still exists.
Yeah, I think that's a boner move. We don't know if the Minnesota franchise reached out to the NHL and said, "Hey, can we get permission to do this?" And the NHL were like, "No," or if they reached out to whoever the powers that control all of this and say, "Hey, we want to do a North Stars thing. Let us use that logo." And if they said, "Nah," then yeah, it's kind of a dick move. I do want to say though, going back to my original point about the shield. It would pop more if that logo, instead of being orange, was the same yellow. You know,
that's fair.
That would pop.
And it is worth putting out there. Usually, when a team relocates to another city, the NHL will purchase the intellectual property of the former team. So all of the Minnesota North Stars logos, colors, all the IP is actually owned by the NHL, which is why I think they were allowed to do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The one exception to that rule is that part of the Thrashers moving to Winnipeg was that Winnipeg actually purchased all of the Jets 1.0 IP. So
gotcha.
That's kind of the exception to the rule. But usually defunct teams, the NHL will buy the IP or the trademark to the IP.
The one thing I will say about this jersey, though, is that I do really like the three-dimensional aspects of the crest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do think that kind of pops. But overall, I don't know, bland on both ends for me. Montreal. You remember the first one, which I was like, oh my God, they just flipped these two colors. But again, a jersey that hasn't changed much in like my entire life.
Boring, but not bad was 1.0.
Yeah. A second time around, boring but better.
But not Oh, okay.
Boring, but slightly better because, know, it's the Canadiens 79 uniform from when the team won its 22nd Stanley Cup title comes back to life in a new shade of light blue inspired by the city of Montreal's colors. And let's be honest, very much kind of a nod to the Expos.
Mm-hmm. I support it.
Yeah. Again, oversized jersey on the model. And if the shield is white, oh, that pops.
Yeah, I actually like this better than their 1.0, but that wasn't that hard to do.
Yeah, you are correct, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Nashville. I mean, like the first go around, I was just kind of like, not bad. Like I like that better than their actual current jersey.
Yeah, it's ugly. Their 1.0 was ugly, but I support it.
Yeah, like I thought it was good. Nashville, you done fucked up.
Yeah, it looks like the current jersey with the old crest, which maybe, on some level, I guess you could say that does apply because the jersey that did have that logo, it was more of a Dijon mustard color.
Yeah, so it's this uniform will feature Predators gold from head to toe. Oh, so this is another one that's going to get the head to toe treatment, including helmet, pant, and socks. Complemented by navy and silver accents, the jersey brings back the famed Pred head crest from the team's 01 original third jersey. Again, I look at this and I'm going, all you had to do was flip the navy and the gold, and this would have been 20 times better.
Yeah, it's a choice for sure.
Yeah, it's like, especially when your first one was, I get it. They're all in on gold. We get it.
Yeah. But again, going back to what we said before, if retro reverse, third jersey, heritage jersey, whatever terminology you want to use, it should be a color that's a stark contrast from your current home jersey. Mm-hmm. This is not that. They wore a beautiful navy blue and blackish and white jersey in 2010.
I love that.
Why not slap
make a white version of that? Invert it.
Why not slap like I guess you could call this the leaping saber tooth. Why not put that logo on their 2010 navy blue jersey? I mean, again, that would sort of check the boxes of doing something that's different than your home jersey.
Yeah, it's dude, we get it. You're into gold, but like change it up once in a while.
Yeah.
Ugh. Nashville, you continue to. Never mind.
Whelm.
Yeah, New Jersey. I feel like they understood the assignment the first time around.
Yep, I agree.
The second one, debatable.
You know what's quite interesting about this New Jersey one? So, the Colorado Avalanche paid homage to the Colorado Rockies because of obviously pro hockey in Colorado.
Yeah, and then it says the jersey's description for the Devils says paying homage to the teams past as the Colorado Rockies.
Exactly. So it's kind of interesting to see two teams pay homage in some fashion to the same team.
And so this was my point that I was making earlier, where it was like, clearly Detroit and Chicago didn't talk to each other. Clearly Colorado and New Jersey didn't talk to each other.
Here's the thing, though. You've heard me say this a lot. I'm not a fan of this design, but I support the inspiration.
Okay. Islanders. Again, I go back when I saw the Islanders round
they did
one.
Not understand the assignment.
Dude, well, to me, I go back to just like Edmonton. Like I'm like, wait, this isn't already one of their jerseys?
No, but that's the thing. It quite literally was.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. So, yeah, you're not understanding it. Like, this needs to be off the beaten path. It needs to be like, whoa, that's different.
Yeah, so, like, you could slice it one of two ways. You could say that their 1.0 was their 2010 to current home jersey in a darker blue, or you could say it's their 1998 to 2007 home jersey in the Adidas version. And you would be correct in both situations. Like, literally the least amount of work went into their 1.0 jersey.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Detroit might have said hold my beer, but go ahead.
No, but here's the thing. And while I understand where you're going with that, Detroit's jersey, it's still their 1.0, still a jersey that's never been seen before.
Gotcha.
I guarantee you go into the team lounge at the Islanders arena, or maybe they have some kind of wall of fame or something. I guarantee you the 1998 to 2007 version of this jersey is on the wall, and they've looked at it and they're like, oh shit, like, man, we really like that
again. All right, 2.0, we get the return of the fisherman now
huge.
I was going to say, again, I go back to the idea of just like Edmonton, they listen to their fans.
Yep.
And so the Islanders ring in their 50th season with an ode to their 95 uniform. The fisherman returns on the center crest with raised embroidery details of the fisherman hat, beard, and hands with teal accents in the waves. The head-to-toe navy color scheme is complemented by orange and white angled trim. So it sounds like when the Islanders rock this, again, we seem to see NHL teams embracing the color rush idea, where it's just we're going to pick a color and we're going to just wear the crap out of it head to toe. A lot of people loved the return of this logo. I'm kind of there. I'm like, yeah, I can see this. But the thing that I think they fucked up on is, how do you not put lighthouse patches on the shoulders of this? Yeah,
I agree with that. With this one, so as you said, they listened to the fans for one. For two, they like the step forward from 1.0 to 2.0 was taken with like an explosive trampoline. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a huge step forward, but also going back to what we like to see with these jerseys is the Frankenstein style. They take their 1995 to 1998. 95 to 97 theme, and they mix it together with the 98 to 2010 colors.
Got it.
And I support that because we love the Frankenstein jerseys. I don't think it's a coincidence that in 1.0 and in 2.0, our favorites are all the ones that were Frankenstein to a degree.
Oh, you're right.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
And the Islanders, I got to say, it's another one that dimensional stitching on the crest really makes shit pop.
Yep.
Man, that is such a huge.
All
right. The Rangers, for the most part, I thought understood the assignment the first time.
I disagree 100%.
Well, I mean,
it's retro, but it's not reversed.
Okay, yeah.
It's similar to the Calgary 1.0, where it's an old jersey. They tweaked the stripes on the sleeves and they called it a day.
Yeah, and I got to say that, this almost like why did you even bother with sleeve stripes? I mean, they're so meh.
Yeah.
But I think it was just the fact of a lot of fans wanted to see the return of Lady Liberty. So for that, I'll give them props. And I would give them props that they brought it back a second time around. And this time, I feel like a lot of fans said, man, 1.0, if you just would have done this, and then New York went, oh, okay, we'll do that.
Well, see, and so this one...
to me, this is way better than the first one.
I agree. This one is a million times better because if for no other reason, it's because it is reversed and retro.
Hey, now, the lady...
That said, I would have dug, and they only wore it for a short amount of time, but from 76 to 78, they wore sort of a jersey with like the blue color with like a white stripe on the bottom and white on the arms and sleeves. I would have liked that to make a comeback just because similar to the Red Wings, and the jersey and the Montreal Canadiens, the jersey is largely unchanged, decade to decade. Why not, get a little wild,
Let's see, and I'll tell you on this one, let me give the description first. Lady Liberty jersey returns in the Rangers' present color palette. Shoulder patches and crest tie back to the original jersey, while white and silver details create a glistening appearance around the historic New York statue. I'm good with all that. I'm sure in person that dimensional threading and everything really makes that logo jump. But I look at this and I'm like, okay, big time upgrade over 1.0. But I was kind of like, what I think would have hit harder is if you essentially invert all the colors that you use. Like make the blue that you have here white, make the red that you have here the original blue, and make the stripes red.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be sacrilege if the Rangers had a red jersey?
No, and that's been brought up before too. In fact, when we talked earlier about the Starter Fashion Series, Starter did a red version of this.
There you go.
It's very difficult to find, but it looks awesome.
To me, that's the play.
Yeah. Well, see, I think I would have liked this. I mean, I'm totally down with the red version. I would like to see a white version of this.
Mm-hmm,
white with blue sleeves and red stripes. But moving on. Man, that's a good logo. All right, Ottawa. Now, I liked their first go-around.
I liked it, but they did not understand the assignment.
No. With the 2006 Centurion primary logo on the shoulder patches and the current primary logo on the crest, booyah, the Senators jersey fuses eras to celebrate the uniform of their historic 06-07 run to the final when Erik Karlsson was... No, that doesn't say in there. The original version of the jersey was the team's first third in 97, which featured less curved stripes and adornments. This to me is a bit of a Frankenstein because if I remember correctly, that number font did not go with this jersey.
I
believe the number font went with the jersey that had like those little... I don't even know what those leaves are, the gold thing that makes up half the circle. It actually goes along the bottom of the crest or the bottom of the jersey around the waist.
Yeah, you know what? This is an interesting jersey for me. So,
and I'm not a fan of that number font.
Well, see, I like the number. Okay. I like the number font just because it's different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the design of the jersey because, as you said, it's paying homage to, the year they went to the Stanley Cup final, which I support that. But I think I like this jersey. Don't get me wrong. I think it's better than 1.0. I think I would like it a lot more if their current home jersey wasn't also black.
Good point. You think they maybe should have went red again?
But then here's the problem. It's kind of a sort of a cat,
yeah,
six in one hand, half a dozen in the other, where if it's red, then it's not reversed. It's just a retro jersey. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of had a small sort of window to operate in, and they've done 3 versions of the barber pole with the O on front, so they can only do that one so many times.
True that.
So I don't know.
I don't know. You know what I would have liked to have seen an inversion of the O jersey. My favorite jersey.
There's 3 of them though.
Oh well, fuck. Do another one then.
Like they could literally have a full uniform kit with just those jerseys.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know. This one, I like it. I would like it a lot more.
To me, it's a step back. I like the first one better.
Okay, and I respect that, but isn't the first their 1.0 just not just like a reverse of their current home jersey?
I don't care.
Like what? Like it's reverse, but not retro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't care. I go back to which one would I buy? I'd buy that first one.
That's fair.
Philly. Here's another one where I sit there and go, I abstain from the exercise.
Their 1.0 was ugly, but the inspiration, I think they hit it out of the park.
No, okay. For this one, I'd go second generation with Philly on this, revisiting their years as repeat Cup champions, 73, 74, 74, 75. The Flyers jersey is nearly all white with black and orange accents, features a thin black outline surrounding the crest to match the one worn in 1974. Again, this is another one where I kind of look at it and I go, they didn't already wear this before?
It does look very similar.
I feel that way about just every Philly jersey.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and as I said on our 1.0 show,
they are consistent.
Yeah, every jersey Philly's ever worn is ugly, but
do they have a secondary logo?
No. Dude, the secondary logo is their current logo in different colors.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And you know what? The one redeeming quality, which I think this is a lateral move for me compared to 1.0, but the one redeeming quality here is that it has more black.
Yeah, and I think with the contrast of the white, I think it pops. But I tell you though, if you stare at that Flyers logo long enough, you almost sit there and go, did you punch in like Detroit Red Wings logo and AI tried to draw it and that's what they came up with? Not one that stands out for me. Pittsburgh. All right. We
love their 1.0.
Really? See, I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's really bland, but again, I'm one of those people where I don't like ward marks on jerseys unless
That's
it's
fair.
Like that. To me, that, like I said, I think the Rangers own the copyright on that. I don't like seeing other teams do it. I think I'm not a fan of the Barracuda black jerseys with that because of that reason.
So the one thing I like about their 1.0, and we've said it a lot, it's reverse and it's retro.
Sure.
They understood the assignment.
And I don't like any of those jerseys.
Sure, and that's fair. I support that.
All right. So Pittsburgh, again, listen to the fans like Edmonton did, like New York did. Boom. Robo Penguin back in the house. The streamlined Penguins jersey worn by Mario and Yager throughout most of their 90s run together resurfaces with the additional gold and white stripe accents on the sleeve. The penguin crest has dimensional embroidery raising the shadow of the penguin head and wings. The only thing, of course, missing from this is that horizontal gradient, but somebody posted on social media that I believe Starter did exactly this back in the 90s as a fashion jersey. So I thought that was kind of funny, but no, this huge step forward from the last one for Pittsburgh, in my opinion.
I think so. I think comparing the jerseys individually, 1.0 and 2.0, I like them both. Comparing them on their own, I like them both. However, I am of the belief Robo Penguin is top 5 hockey logos of all time.
I'll give you that. I co-sign.
So, to bring Robo Penguin back, like you said, they listen to the fans.
It's huge.
It's huge.
This needs to be the permanent third jersey.
Right. They listened to the fans, and they brought it back. And you know what? The Penguins, they brought back Robo Penguin, which I love. Here's my complaint, and it's a very teeny tiny complaint. Their home jersey is black with the Pittsburgh gold. Their third jersey is black with the Pittsburgh gold. Their reverse retro 2.0, black with Pittsburgh gold. Now, all 3 have different logos, and they're all unique and interesting in their own way. Robo Penguin obviously being the cream of the crop, but black with the Pittsburgh gold accents, we've seen it before. And I know we're gonna have to call an ambulance for you after I say this, but the baby blue is rooted heavily in Pittsburgh Penguins history, and I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I think if they really wanted to melt a lot of people's brains, Robo Penguin in the baby blue style, I think would have been a number one seller for 2.0.
What about if they use, instead of this bright yellow, if they use that gold from like the previous Penguins jerseys from like, the 2016 Stanley Cup?
It's a different take, which I understand where you're going with that. However, the reason that Pittsburgh switched from that gold to Pittsburgh gold is because that gold is actually the official swatch name is Vegas gold.
Oh, crap. Okay.
And so the reason why Pittsburgh switched was to accommodate Vegas. And so, nobody wants to accommodate Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck them kids.
I still say, baby blue and even navy blue, either one. It's been rooted in Penguins history for, from 67 to 1980.
Yeah, I'm picking that up.
We got a baby blue Robo Penguin. I think we need Puck Guy to whip that up just to say that it's out there. Because I think that should have been their play. That said, step forward from me just because Robo Penguin is one of the best logos of all time.
All right. Oh, here we fucking go.
Who?
Oh, San Jose. Now, I liked the 1.0. I liked it a lot. And I think one of the reasons why I liked it so much is that it was it's got the original logo, of course, which I love. It's a nod to possibly, I know a lot of people love the first jersey. Don't get me wrong. I love the OG 91, 96 era Sharks jersey. But the second generation jersey was always my favorite. Owen Nolan, Mike Ricci, the Vinny Damphus, that 2000 team that destroyed Chris Pronger in a President's Trophy winning St. Louis Blues team. Love that jersey, so I think that's one of the reasons why I really loved this. However, I've always wondered, and I've never gotten a straight answer, I've always wondered, did the Sharks go this route because 1.0 happened to fall the same year that they were doing their 30th anniversary, so they already had a heritage jersey? Makes me wonder if they would have done like a black version of the heritage jersey. Or a gray.
It's certainly possible. I mean, it's certainly possible that was a consideration. But I do know this. Not to I don't want to give too much inside baseball, but we know, me and you, we know that this jersey design had been in the can since mid 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We know that it was in the can since then. We know that at that time, the Sharks were interested in exploring using more gray, which is why I believe around that time, and obviously Eric Landy could confirm that because he actually received this email, but they had sent out a survey about jerseys and what colors that the fans wanted to see going forward. And I know at that time, like I said, mid 2019, there was a strong debate on whether or not to make gray more of a focal point. But also this jersey was in the hopper for a while. And so is it possible that decision was made because they knew it was going to be during the 30th season when they would bring back the OG heritage? I mean, it's certainly possible.
Mm-hmm.
But
I will say, though, when I look at this, I do love it. I'm wearing one right now. But I will say, man, if you invert the black and the gray, I think it would explode.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I don't know. I just think maybe it was a consideration, but it's also worth mentioning that this jersey, again, it dropped in, I believe, January 2021 is when the first time they wore it, and it was in the hopper long before that.
Yeah. So, oh, dear Lord. Again, way oversized. Can we get the model a jersey that fits? The typography and colors of the 1974 California Golden Seals, the Bay Area's first NHL team, merged with the new Sharks wordmark. I mean, we broke this news, I don't know how long ago, that this was what was going to be coming down the pipe.
Well,
long before Fanatics fucked up.
Well, this was and we, kind of had one ear to the ground on this one because this was actually the rumored 1.0 for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew since about mid 2019 what the 1.0 was going to maybe look like, but there were a lot of whispers about this design as well.
And again, this is another instance of a team listening to fan outcry. Mm-hmm. A lot of fans were asking for one of these. Again, I don't like word marks, and I think this jersey hits hot if you flip the teal and the white.
Yeah, so I showed this to my fiance, and she said the exact same thing. She said that, well, she has an interesting way of describing things. I showed it to her, and she said it was embarrassing. Which I don't know that I agree with that. I think that's a bit extreme, but I do agree with you. I agree with her. I agree with a lot of people. I don't know. I think it would have been cool to see, again, a teal version as opposed to a white version. But again, goes back to what I said before. If you have a alternate jersey that's a similar color to your home jersey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and Tyga pointing out something that I actually now that Tyga points it out, I'm like, yeah, that's a great fucking point. As he says, it's hilarious how many non-Sharks fans really love this jersey, and I'm thinking, yeah, and the opposite is true. I know a lot of Sharks fans that looked at this and said, yeah, this might be the only Sharks jersey I don't buy.
Here's what I'm wondering, and this goes back. This is another question I have for you. So obviously, the California Seals, Oakland Seals, whatever you want to refer to them as, before the Seals wore the teal jersey that has the white and the yellow accenting to it, they wore a green jersey that has yellow accenting to it. Now, my question for you, and for anybody who's curious, you can look it up on the internet.
You're talking about one that is very similar to like if the Oakland A's played hockey, right?
Yeah. So what my question for you is, say the Golden Seals jersey from 73 to 74, the green primary with the yellow accents, but you make that Seals font say Sharks. Is it sacrilege for the Sharks to wear a color that's not teal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fair. Again, maybe we'll need Puck Guy to whip that up and see what that looks like, but
I wouldn't have. See, I think this, I don't want to say it would like be a hit out of the park, but I think it would hit harder if you actually took like the Golden Seals crest versus a word mark. And
so like the one from like 67 to 70, you mean?
I'd have to see it, but probably. Don't they have one where it's like a full circle because it's Oakland, and they have another one where the circle's broke because it was California? Like you go with the California one. Like the logo that they put on those green shirts that they gave away during the Seals promotion a season or two ago. That logo. But do it in the colors that match this.
And you know what? I think with this we'll need to see it with full gear and on the ice and stuff. But
see, now that makes me wonder: are they going to go full white on this? Like white breezers, white pants, white skates, white gloves, white lids, top to bottom.
I
like very much like Dallas did with their 1.0.
Personally, I think that would look really ugly, but I think they need to do it.
Agreed. So yeah, that's. Again, this is another one where it's like, man, I got to see this in person. I'll tell you the jersey that I would go with if you're going to do a reverse thing. Just go with that. Just make the teal and white and make the white teal, and you're fine.
Can I be controversial?
Whip it out.
I like the 2.0 jersey.
The Seals thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm rolling the dice that people will be so uninterested in it that maybe a stripped team issue will find its way into my collection.
Oh, dude. Order 2, please.
Mm-hmm.
Christine asking, why does the teal look turquoise? I think probably because it might be a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say the Seals teal is a bit more
aqua.
I was going to say watery.
Yeah.
Like representing water. Than the Sharks teal is.
Also, don't discount that the fact that it's next to another color that can create kind of an optical illusion. Because I know when I saw the Edge jerseys, 2007 when they switched and then they added orange, I'm like, why do our jerseys look green now?
Mm-hmm,
and a lot of times it had to do with the fact that the color orange was on there, and it kind of threw my my peepers out of whack.
Sure.
So any hoodles, for those of you interested, the Sharks will be whipping these out 6 times this year, but only 4 times at SAP. Sad. But you can see them for the first time on Black Friday versus the Kings, and then December 7th, December 9th, the 13th, the 27th, and the 29th. So basically what I'm saying is if you hate them, well, once the calendar flips to 2023, you never have to see them again, so you're fine.
Huge.
I would like to see more of an effort, though, that when one team wears their retros, the other team wears theirs as well. But
I agree. So leave that schedule up for a second.
Sure.
What you just said, I agree with that, and that's what when 1.0 was like getting ready to be dropped, that's what we were told was that, and I believe, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when you spoke to Jonathan Becker about 1.0, he had mentioned that the plan was to see reverse retros face off against each other.
Yeah, I do believe that was the
that's
plan, and
something
then I don't know, somebody messed up.
Here's the other thing, and this is really getting into the jersey minutia, so bear with me here. But when the Edmonton Oilers wore in 2018-19, they wore their 40th anniversary jersey. They only wore it against former Smythe Division opponents.
See, now I like that, and if you go back to the 25th anniversary for the Sharks. Do you remember that the Heritage jersey was only supposed to be worn 4 times?
It was supposed to be 3. They got it up to 5, and
well,
they wore it against Pittsburgh, Detroit, Ottawa.
It was like Columbus and so because
Columbus, and I don't remember the 5th one.
But my biggest complaint when they rolled out the schedule for the 25th jersey was, I go, wait a minute, they're whipping out their Heritage jersey. And I'm like, 2 of the 3 teams that they're playing in these didn't exist when the Sharks wore these. Like, how stupid is that? And then it seemed like after some fan outcry, all of a sudden it was like, yeah, we might need to add Detroit to this list just because of the feels and the memories of 94. Like, somebody fucked up somewhere. But at least they did get it right eventually.
And so, you know what? Obviously, I was not alive in 1975. And you were very young in 1975.
I was a little nerd.
So obviously, I don't think this is our, frame of reference, obviously. But I'd be, if anybody was either alive that's listening or they're familiar with the history, I would like to know, maybe if the Seals had any big rivals. And, maybe this is kind of a far out there thing. But in, 74 and 75.
They did have a rival with winning.
Right. But the two seasons that the Seals wore this jersey, they shared a division with Boston, Buffalo, and Toronto.
Oh.
So I think, it's not the sexy pick for the Sharks, but I think if you really want to steer into the historical element of it,
hell yeah.
I think they should be wearing the Seals inspired jersey against those 3 teams.
Dude, I would love to this and the Buffalo one is white.
Right, and that's the problem. But I think, and
Toronto
how many
game would be fun.
And how many games are they wearing this? You said it's 6, correct?
6.
Okay, so why not? So why not do Toronto, Buffalo, and Boston? You only play them twice each, so you could do it. You could do it right there. You could do all 6 right there.
Yeah, it's 6, but they do it against Vancouver twice. Who wrote that down?
Right, but what I'm saying is, so it's Boston, Buffalo, Toronto. You play each team twice. That's 6 right there. So you could do that. Or if you want to spread it out a little bit more, you could do it once each against those 3 teams. And then, if you want to do the easy one, you could do Vegas, LA, and Anaheim, and then call it a day.
Yeah. Oh, and let's also point out the insane silliness of everything surrounding this. The fact that, first off, Fanatics, if you'll remember, leaked 20 of the 32 designs like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. So that kind of put that fire out. But then they have 24 hours of building hype, right, on the 19th. They're putting out teaser videos throughout the day and blah, blah, blah. And then the whole thing, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Pacific, they do the whole full release. And then you go, you're all ass on fire, right? Like, oh, my God, I can't believe it. You go to NHL Shop or Fanatics, They don't have anything for sale. Everything is fucking pre-order, and it's not even on the Fanatic site. Like, all the pre-orders were on the team sites that mostly aren't run by Fanatics. How do you screw that up? Could you imagine? This is why Dick's Sporting Goods, and I guarantee you this will happen this year like it's happened every other fucking year, is that when whoever wins the World Series in a week and a half from now or whenever it is, that the night that game, that whoever is crowned champion, they will literally be able to drive to their nearest Dick's and buy the championship shirt that the players were just wearing on their TV 20 minutes earlier. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet they build up all this hype. They knew it was coming, and here's the release on October 20th. Great, when can we get one? Like today? No, you have to wait a month. They'll be out on the 15th of November.
Well, dude, we knew about Reverse Retro 2.0 12 months ago.
Oh, yeah. No. I get that. But just the fact that you finally do all of this release, you put it out to the public. Here's all the designs. Aren't these amazing? Yes, I want a hat and a shirt and a jersey. Oh, well, sorry, you got to wait a month for that.
No,
then why the hell did you tell me?
No, but that's my point. We knew about it 12 months ago.
Yeah,
why did it not drop on day one?
Exactly. Just it's dumbest business marketing ever. Let's move on because I could talk about that all day. Seattle. I mean, you didn't have a 1.0, so there was nowhere to go but up. I got to tell you, I really like this jersey.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it's horrible.
No, I like it too.
I would buy this instead of their current jersey.
I'm with you on that 100%. Here's my complaint. Why? And again, don't get it sideways. I like the jersey. But why is this not the Kraken color scheme on a Seattle Metropolitans jersey? Yep. And now, yes, this jersey, it's partially inspired from the Seattle Metropolitans. I understand that. But if you look at the Seattle Metropolitans, that shit was basically a candy cane on a jersey.
You right? Yeah, so dude, yeah, it's a missed opportunity. But I still love the Kraken S description on this. Sophomore season, the Kraken highlight the team's sea green color in the body of the jersey. Below it, the S crest is submerged in the navy striped sea, where the Kraken's red eye peaks just above the surface. Again, I don't know why, but I dig this, and I
dig it too. Again, don't get it sideways. I dig this.
Yeah, one. But I like it. This needs to become their third jersey after this.
Yeah, I support it.
Anyway.
And especially because, again, like we talked about, this is a jersey where they've made one of their secondary colors the primary color.
Yeah, I do. Again, though, I do think it's kind of a miss. Like, it would have been really cool if they would have come up with a new secondary logo for the shoulders.
Yeah. Or, and again, okay, this is so out there. So bear with me. So are you familiar with the Seattle Metropolitans logo? How it's it's the letter S, and then it's written, Seattle is written in the S.
Yeah, and yeah.
So okay,
vertically, right?
Yeah. So I've got two suggestions for you. Number one, that logo in the Kraken color scheme, or that concept, but instead of saying an S that says Seattle, it's a K that says Kraken.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd co-sign that. Super chat. Thank you, Skylar.
Skylar, shout out.
Skylar, following teams played the Seals. Original 6 teams: Kings, Flyers, Pens, Blues, Canucks, Sabres. Sharks will play a few of those teams. All right.
See, I think it's got to be, going back to that real quick, I think it's Boston, Buffalo, Toronto. Those are your Seals divisional opponents. I think it's got to be those 3. The Seals' final game was against the LA Kings, so that's 4.
Cool.
Your other 2, maybe you do Vegas and Anaheim, Vegas and Vancouver.
I would totally do Vegas, since Vegas is black.
Okay.
And there's the current history, if you will.
Sure.
Is that an oxymoron?
Did somebody say Game 7?
Oh, dude. When they were playing the Rangers this week, as soon as I heard the name Barclay Goodrow, I went, here we fucking go. Cue up the clip, boys. All right, St. Louis. A lot of people hated this, and I
loved it.
And I was one of those people. No, I'm kidding.
I loved this one.
I didn't think it was horrible, but I was just like, I mean, they understood the assignment.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it was retro, and they reversed it, and a lot
Quite
of
literally, actually.
yeah. So I'm like, hey, I mean, do what you do. But again, I think they step forward. The Blues honor their inaugural jersey presented in 1966, which was a prototype worn by the ownership of the club a year before the team hit the ice. The gold and blue pairing is inspired by the Blues' third jersey and other vintage uniforms, including the 17 and 22 Winter Classics. Dude, I like this. I love the logo. It has that just such a music vibe to it. Like there's like if you look at this jersey and you replace the word St. Louis with like New Orleans or Chicago, like I think it works. You know, the Chicago blues, the New Orleans blues, you know, places that you can go to hear good blues music. Sure. I just dig this.
That's fair. And you know what? I think maybe what kind of gave me some pause is when you said that it was better than their 1.0.
I think it is.
I don't think that it's better, but I don't think that it's worse either. I think these guys, St. Louis, it's similar to Colorado, Florida, Los Angeles, Buffalo, they hit big on both. You know what I mean? And personally, like, I think, again, we've talked about it. I think the color yellow is one of the worst colors in the rainbow, but again,
I think it works.
Not you know how many times they've worn a jersey primarily yellow? 0.
Yeah. So
that's a point for them.
Yep.
This crest, never been seen before. That's a point.
Yep. And I love the single musical note.
Yeah, it's unlike anything they've ever worn before. So I'm not ready to say that it's better than 1.0, but I can comfortably say it's as good as 1.0. It's right there.
All right. See, and again, I go back to which one would I buy if given the choice? I'd totally get this one. Now, would this hit a little harder if maybe you invert the white and the yellow? Perhaps.
But they've worn white jerseys all throughout history.
I know, but it's just, you know, you look at Nashville, Buffalo, like, God damn, there's a lot of yellow in the league. But anyway.
That's fair.
But again, I think they did a great job. Tampa, for me, this was one of the 1.0 version. I'm like, holy crap, is this bland as crap? And again, very much kind of like, wait, don't they already wear this?
So I think with 1.0, I think Tampa understood the assignment, but the jersey itself was ugly.
There you go. I will co-sign that. Second time around, again, I think listening to fan outcry, this jersey features rain, sea, and lighting, sublimated in full-size graphics across the jersey with lightning bolts down the side of the pants. That's going to look cool. Pays homage to the original 97 Storm third jersey with an electric-styled font. I will tell you, I love this.
Me too.
I absolutely dig it. The only thing that I think would make it better, hear me out, is if it didn't have the rain. Like if it was a solid white base, but you have the thunderbolts on the sleeves and the water at the bottom, I think it hits even harder without the rain.
I think it's funny. This jersey is so ugly that it's beautiful.
Yeah, okay then. Yeah, it's up there. This is kind of, I don't know, for me, this is the 2.0 version of Anaheim's 1.0.
Yeah, and you know, Puck, I made that same point as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, that's just embracing the silliness of the 90s.
Yeah, I support it. I love that, and you know,
dude, I mean, lean into it.
Yeah, and white is an interesting jersey choice because, like, obviously you wear white on the road, it's your away jersey, but you know, it's always kind of interesting when teams choose a white alternate. But I think in this case, like,
kicks, dude.
It's.
And remember that you're talking about, you wear your whites on the road. Remember, the Sharks are wearing their white seals 4 times at home, so you can negotiate with the other teams and make sure that worked out. Like a couple of years ago, like Carolina did a whole trip along the West Coast and wore their reds.
Yeah, and actually what was really cool about that, which I think we need to see more of, is when Carolina played Anaheim, Carolina wore their red jersey and Anaheim wore their home jerseys that were black and orange. So we had like the double primary kind of situation going. And I think we need to see more of that.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's move on to Toronto. It's going to take them maybe 5-6 times to get this right.
Is that one? See, they did such a bad job multiple times. I don't even know if that's 1.0 or 2.0.
That's 1.0.
Yeah, if you say so.
You're right. Now, the weird thing is that when you look at this at 1.0 in this photo, you really don't notice the gray so much.
Right, it looks white.
Yeah, but there's a lot more gray in it. So 2.0, it says, honoring their 61-62 Stanley Cup winning uniform, the Maple Leafs crest is recreated with vintage single needle stitching. A new narrow shoulder yoke with pointed seam construction was specifically created to match the original sweater. I mean, I like the second one more than the first one, with the exception of, I don't know. I think if you just take out the words Maple Leafs out of the crest, you just leave the Toronto, maybe that works. Or I don't know if it's just this photo, but it looks like that word mark on the leaf just, I don't know, it looks so cartoony to me.
Boring. Not a fan.
I mean,
let's look at it. It's the same. It's not quite the same crest logo, but it's very similar. It's the same primary logo. It's the same similar striping. Like, the jerseys that the Maple Leafs wore, let's say early 2000s, mid 2000s, late 2000s, boring as hell. But at least those were different,
Yeah, I got to tell you, when it comes to the Leafs, the only things they seem to be able to do well are like the Stadium Series jerseys.
Yeah, those ones are really nice. Their Heritage Classic was nice. The Centennial Classic was nice.
Yeah,
Stadium Series, Winter Classic was going on. My question for you, let me ask you this. So since 2019, the Maple Leafs have worn their St. Pat's jerseys every St. Patrick's Day. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on and you know what? If you want to use this Maple Leafs jersey, whatever, I support it. But what are your thoughts on the Maple Leafs jersey with the crest and the striping and the whole deal
in green and white
in the St. Pat's colors?
I think it'd at least be different.
I think that's
the play.
That's it. That's it, if you ask me. Because again, it goes back to what I said before. You have a retro jersey, retro reverse, third, heritage, alternate, whatever terminology you want to use. If it's the same color as your primary jersey, why should I care?
Hey, now. The one thing I also want to say about this, when it comes to the Toronto ones, first off, this photo of 1.0, that is such a horrible photo, just because look at the way the sleeves kind of taper down with your arms like they should, but then the waist like flares out like a dress.
Mm-hmm.
Like bad look. But look where the shield is on 1.0 and then look where it is on 2.0. Like wait a minute, wasn't that supposed to be higher in the neckline?
Well, you know what else is really weird? So you were talking about how for all of the models, like for their jerseys, they could go a size down. I think this person here needs to go a size up.
Perhaps. See, I look at this and I think, oh, they finally got one wearing the correct size.
Maybe.
But all right, let's move on to Vancouver, which feels like wasn't that the one we knew about the longest?
See,
was that the first league?
With 1.0, Vancouver understood the assignment.
Yes.
They took their current color scheme and they applied it to their 01 to 06 third jersey. They completely understood the assignment, full send.
And then what happened? Inspired by the Canucks 62 uniform of the former WHL, the reverse retro jersey features a recreation of the 60s Johnny Canuck icon on the center crest. Matching the original jersey, player numbers appear on the left chest and right shoulder only. That's a little weird.
Front numbers.
Yeah, they suck.
You know what? I don't like this jersey.
I hate the design. I hate the logo. There's not one thing about this that I like.
What about the inspiration?
Don't care.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. And I also
like
I do, the one thing I will appreciate it though about 1.0 versus 2.0 when it comes to the hype about this, at least they took color accurate photos of 1.0. 2.0, there's all these hues, and sometimes it's hard to get an actual take on what the colors actually are.
Right. See, I think I like this because it's a different blue than their home jersey, which I like. The inspiration I like.
Does the Abbotsford team already use this as a?
They use something very similar.
Yeah, so that's why I was just nah. Now you got it. And let's be honest,
the design sucks for sure.
Well, dude, everybody wants the skate.
Yeah, could you imagine? Okay,
you put the skate logo on this, and I'm in.
Okay, I was gonna say, talking about Frankensteining and everything, the Canucks they've had 3 very distinct color schemes, right?
But do not go to the Flying V, bro.
No. But what I was gonna say is, imagine the skate jersey. I think the skate logo. I think you're onto something with the skate logo.
Absolutely.
But imagine the skate logo either in the current color scheme or in that like navy blue, burgundy, early 2000s color scheme.
Yeah, either one. I'm all in.
I would co-sign that.
Yeah, I think they got to bring back the skate. That to me, this was Fanatics.
That was their heritage jersey for their 50th anniversary.
Yeah, dude. Canucks. They took a step back.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
All right. VGK. Okay, so I mean,
loved 1.0.
Obviously, they didn't have all the history to draw upon, but what they did, I think they did a good job. I liked 1.0 simply because, again, I don't want to say understood the assignment per se, but at least they came up with something very different. They used the least used color in their palette and made it the feature.
I love that.
Yeah, they made the shoulder patch the feature on the crest. That was a great idea. It definitely has kind of an Excalibur vibe going on here. So I thought that they did a really good job with 1.0 considering what they had to work with.
Well, so here's the thing with 1.0. So I'm with you. They made the red primary, which is awesome. They made the shoulder logo the primary, which is awesome. We love both of those things for them. But what I really enjoyed, to your point, is Vegas, they don't have a lot of NHL history at that time and now. So what I thought that what they did, because if you go on Google and you type Las Vegas Thunder, who played in the IHL in the 90s,
yep,
their jerseys were like a teal, purple sort of white color, but the design of their jerseys exactly like Vegas's 1.0. So I like, hey, you know what? We don't have a lot of NHL history. Let's pay homage to Las Vegas hockey history. And so I really dug that. And, for different reasons, 1.0 understood the assignment, and these were one of my favorites.
All right. So let's look at 2.0 inspired. Oops, I'm sorry. The Golden Knights created a jersey whose design imagines what a Golden Knights third jersey might have looked like in 1995. Sure. Features a Vegas diagonal wordmark and glitzy font inspired by vintage hotel signage on the strip. I got to tell you, if Florida is my numero uno, this might, I would say probably LA is number 2 for me. Maybe Arizona. This is definitely in my top 3.
Really?
Yeah. See, I'm not a fan of the diagonal word marks and all that, but for some reason, this works for me because it reminds me of kind of like a neon sign. And then the fact that the letters glow in the dark, I mean, dude. And I love the, the Stardust for the, inspired logos for the number fonts. Like, I got to say, dude, I thought they did a really good job with this.
Yeah, you know what? I really like this jersey. I did kind of question, what is reverse about it.
I mean, bro.
Right. No,
and you're going to tell me that T-Mobile isn't just going to have the lights completely out when they roll these things?
Oh, they totally are, dude.
Yeah.
And I do really like these jerseys. Like you said, it sort of pays homage to the lore surrounding Las Vegas, the city, which I like. I do really like these jerseys. I personally think I like 1.0 better, only because 1.0 1.0 was a reverse of something, and it was also took inspiration from something related to hockey.
Oh, where this... Okay, so I get what you're saying. So this is what I'm saying is that as a reverse retro doesn't fulfill the assignment, as an alternate, like a brand new alternate, slays.
Love it.
Yeah. Christine's saying smart design. They can sell it to the rando tourists who want Vegas souvenirs. Absolutely. Dude, absolutely. But I got to tell you, that glow in the dark thing, I'm like, you motherfuckers, you guys just keep...
have they released their schedule? Or when they're going to wear it?
I can dive into the depths here and see, because it's like, what are you going to be buying some tickies?
Well, so the Sharks are going to be here.
I got you.
Sharks are going to be here in November, and I believe they're going to be here in March.
Yeah, but they aren't wearing
February.
it. They're not wearing it versus the Sharks. They are actually going to roll these out in 8 games this season. But oddly enough, like I pointed out early, the Sharks are wearing them in 6, but only 4 times at home. Vegas is wearing these 8 times at home. Canucks, Flyers, Islanders, Preds, Kings, Oilers, Stars, Capitals. So they're also not playing the same team twice in any of these.
Interesting.
And dude, I got to be honest, I'd be shocked if because we already saw that they announced that the golds are going to be their new primaries.
Correct.
And that the old charcoals are going to be their thirds. Dude, next year, I guarantee you, charcoals are going by. This will be the next third.
Well, and I think you could make the argument similar to Carolina, where this almost feels like a backdoor way into introducing a permanent third jersey.
Yep. Exactly that. One more thing, though, I want to point out. This is something that I only saw with Vegas, at least on social media. This is the thing that, of course, bums me out. The advertising patch. Because of that V, and we already saw that the advertising patch has always been in the upper right, but now that V gets in the way, so they had to move it up to the shoulder. And I got to tell you, if we have to have an advertisement, I like it better there on the shoulder. Like you have your secondary logo on one, put the ad on the other side, done and done. Like if you have to do it.
And they beta tested that during the World Cup of Hockey, and you didn't really hear any outcry whatsoever.
Dude, remember my jersey? I went out and got a goddamn SAP patch to put on it.
Right.
I was like, yeah, I want it to be authentic. All right, Capitals.
Fail. Well, no,
dude. To me, it's like let's copy the last jersey, but let's do it on a black and white printer.
Yeah. So you know what? So their 1.0. They understood the assignment, obviously, because beautiful design. They did it in the modern color scheme. I love it. I support it. But again, it goes back to what I said before. Your jersey is the same color as your home jersey. What are you doing? That's really my only complaint with 1.0.
Well, I mean, to me, it's like they just took the old, let's take the reverse retro jersey, put it in the 90s colors, call it a day.
Well, and here's the thing. So obviously the Capitals 2.0, I love that jersey. That's an awesome jersey. And it is a retro jersey, but, I guess it's kind of reversed. I mean, the inspiration was the blue with the black and brown sort of accents. So I guess on that level it is reverse and retro. But to your point, it's the same as 1.0 in a different color. Yeah.
To me, this just, again, smacks of starter fashion series.
Sure.
But it says, Screaming Eagle makes a comeback against an all-black colorway in the new Capitals New Jersey. Asymmetrical striping, unconventional font, new blue and copper colors were influenced by the 05 uniform. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I'm like bottom 5. Piss off.
Offended.
Oh, dude, so offended. All right, Winnipeg. I gotta, the first go-around seemed to offend a lot of people.
It's, their 1.0 was like, this is going to sound weird. The jersey itself was ugly. It's very ugly. Well,
I think if you flip the blue and the gray, it's actually really nice.
It's not, here, it's hard for me to explain. It's not a bad jersey, but it's just very weird. It's very basic. You know what I mean?
It's very Columbus to me.
Sure. That's fair.
So, did they take a step forward? To me, hell yeah.
It's well, yes. Generally speaking, it is a step forward. It's a step forward because
The
this
first
jersey is
because there was such a small step to take to go forward.
exactly. This one, just the fact that it's not primarily gray is a step forward. They use the original Winnipeg Jets logo, which I love so much that they whipped that one out.
But a lot of people upset that the jet is blue and not red.
Oh, wah, boo-hoo. Like honestly, like it's it's. You just looking at this, you can tell this is the 1990 to 1996 Winnipeg Jets jersey with no red in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I dig it, And if they want to get wild and wear red pants, I support it.
Well, dude, and Winnipeg known for that whiteout shit.
Hell yeah, dude! I love that. I think
this is, to me, like it's a step forward. Like I don't hate the first jersey.
Me neither.
It's just
basic.
Yeah, but I like the second one, and it says the Jets ditched the red in their new jersey, highlighting royal blue, featuring a bright white color base. 22 reverse retro jersey design was prompted by the 90 jersey, the inaugural year of the uniform worn by Timo Solani when he broke the rookie goal scoring record in 92-93. So there you have it. That's all of them. Again, so when you see them all together on one palette, I'm thinking like just based on creativity. I mean, you could probably get into the comparison of 1.0 to 2.0, but if you're like, okay, I can only pick up 5 of these. For me, it's Florida is definitely number 1 for me. I'll just give you my 5 in no particular order.
Sure. But
Florida is definitely going in my bag, or add to cart, if you will. God, I hate this. I hate to say it, but that fucking Vegas jersey.
Yeah.
I just love the nod to old time Vegas. I think I'm gonna have to throw that Tampa Bay in there, add to cart. I think this is gonna blow your mind, but I might have to throw that Blues one, add to cart. And finally, God, you know what? I'm having a hard time deciding between Robo Penguin and the Kings, but you know what? I'm putting Robo Penguin in the cart because in my mind, during 1.0, I added the Kings to cart back then.
I hear that.
What? How about you?
It's hard to say.
You're obviously going Florida.
Florida for sure. I'm trying to look at it like in the the little groupings they're in. Florida. Okay, I just want to say as an aside, I will be getting a Sharks one, but I'm not counting it in my top 5 because that's obvious.
Yeah, well, I will probably get a Sharks one if I get MIC because that's the only way I'm getting one of these.
That's fair. So Florida, obviously. Arizona, obviously.
So yeah. Again, the only reason why I didn't choose it is because in my mind I already got the purple one hanging in my closet.
That's fair. I'm gonna say Florida, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Vegas, Dallas.
You're not going Tampa?
That's my 5. Tampa's an honorable mention. Buffalo's an honorable mention. LA's an honorable. Shit, man. 5's not enough.
Dude, I gotta say Boston's kind of an honorable one for me.
God damn it, dude. Why is my honorable mention list as long as the actual list?
That's what I'm saying. Like the only way you can get around it is like if you actually do it in batches. Like the batch of 4 in the upper left, taking Florida. Batch of 4 in the middle, I'm taking Tampa.
Yep.
Batch of 4 or the batch of 3 in the upper right, I'm going Pooh Bear. You're going Buffalo, right?
I think. See, my gut says Buffalo, but I think I could be sweet talked into Anaheim.
All right. Left middle. See that, dude? I'm right there.
Arizona for me.
Yeah, and I'm right there between Arizona and St. Louis. Going, God damn it! Like if 1.0 doesn't exist,
yeah,
I'm totally going Phoenix.
Sure.
Get back to me on that. In the middle one. So is the Sharks part of the center group or part of the right group?
I think they're part of the right.
Okay. So in that middle batch, oh, dude, it's Kraken all day.
I was gonna say in the middle, I think I'm flipping a coin between Seattle and Dallas.
All right, and then the batch to the right,
Sharks.
Sharks, but only by lesser of all evils.
Sure.
Bottom left, New York all day, Rangers.
Oh, you know what? Can I take both Dallas and Seattle and take nothing from that group?
I'll allow it. Dude, middle group, Vegas, but
it's got to be Pittsburgh for me.
I was gonna say, dude, that's a coin tosser. But,
and all the OG TTG listeners are gonna hear me pick Pittsburgh and then die because whatever.
And then finally, LA all day.
Oh, dude, LA in my sleep.
Yeah. All right, so that's it. I mean, that was essentially a separate show that we should probably cut into its own thing.
Probably. I mean, this was like the Pucknologists
takeover, reverse retro, some shit.
Yeah, it was like Pucknologists Jersey jargon after dark